All right, Frasiacs, can you believe that this week marks 2 years since KJ Schmano and I moved to Los Angeles? How has it been 2 years? Oh my God. I know a lot of you are new here. I know a lot of you are just true OG fans. And I'm so grateful for that. I am a full-time podcaster and TV host here in Los Angeles. Prior to that, I got my career and my name from Washington, D.C., The Kane Show on Hot 99.5 and Sarah, Ty, and Mel on DC's 107.3. So 2 years ago, I took a risk and bet on myself. And how's it been going in LA? I'm going to give you a little rundown of the highs and lows. Does Schman like Los Angeles any better? And, if you're sitting at home and you're listening to this and you're like, God, I would love to move somewhere, I will tell you all about it and why you should 100% do it. Plus, I went to Jax Taylor from Vanderpump Rules. We all know season 10 starts this week on Bravo, and he has a bar, Jax Studio City. Oh, was it worth going? Okay. We'll discuss that. Also, my friend Sarah from Texas, Jeff Lewis Obsessed, who has been on my podcast. She had a live podcast taping here in LA. So I'll give you a little bit of a recap on that show. And, then we have to talk about a news story where there's apparently an ideal dick size for men. Do we believe this? I mean, every couple of months this comes out, but apparently this one's backed by science, and this is the size, the girth, like everything we want, ladies. Let's see. Let's see. So I'll talk first about Los Angeles. It has been 2 years. And it's the greatest decision I ever made of my life. I still get messages from you guys. Please come back to DC. When are you going to be back? Are you ever going to be back on Fox 5? For those of you who don't know, I was a contributor at Fox 5 DC as an entertainment host for 13 years. And then this fall, they were basically like, look, girl, you've been living the LA life. We can't hire you to just hang out there and podcast. All right. And we know you're not coming back. So basically, we're parting ways. But if you have a story or something, you're always welcome back. I loved my time on Fox 5 DC. Forever grateful for them. I can't even believe, I'm so grateful they kept me employed the whole year and a half that we moved out here. But it is, first of all, Schman is liking it better. A lot of people are always worried about that because definitely the first year was really rough. And I always say, I think when you move somewhere now, it takes 2 years for sure to get acclimated, to like a place. It's very hard to get stuff going even in 1 year's time. So Schman had a rough go. He did not like LA, mostly because, Schman is not a big person of change. He loves tradition. I know I've talked about this. We go on his family vacation to Northern Michigan every year, and they assign like a night for food, like Tuesday night's taco night. I don't even have the nights correct, which is terrible because I've been going for a decade. Sunday night's pizza night, I think. Monday night's chop suey night. Anyhow, so Schman loves tradition. He loves tradition. I think he would have stayed in Northern Virginia the rest of our lives. He would have been so happy out there in the Leesburg. Nothing against the Leesburg. I love it. But I was like, I knew in my gut there was something bigger and something more. So he's making friends. Woohoo! Schman's got some friends out here in Los Angeles. He's made some friends. That helps. He likes his job, so that's going better and better. The first year was rough because, Schman works in club soccer, which is huge out here. But one of the struggles of club soccer in the Los Angeles area is securing field space. So luckily they got that. So his job has just been getting better and better. He's making friends. When you have a kid, that's one of the great things is you suddenly have built-in parents and you find the parents that are also having the same parental experience you are. Of course, not everybody parents the same. But everything you hear about LA is right and also wrong. And for me in the entertainment business, this is 1000% the place to be. I always say though, what's funny about Los Angeles is this is a city not for the young, but also they love the young, if that makes sense. And what I mean by that is you have to have your shit figured out to live in Los Angeles. One, the cost of living is incredibly high. At first, I thought it was the same price as like living in Arlington, Virginia, DC, but it's a lot more. A lot more concierge medicine here. You find like the really good doctors, the really good specialists. God forbid you need one, but I'm learning this from my IVF journey. Don't take any insurance. Doesn't even matter if you have great insurance. Don't take health insurance. It's very, the cost of living is insane because they have all these. Okay, you could get me started. You know how you guys know how I'm like, now I'm a political ranter too. But anyway, they have this absurdity. You buy a house over $5 million, you're getting taxed an additional 5%. There's all these hidden taxes. There are tax codes for purchasing a house, right? If you lived in a house for 30 years, your yearly taxes are so low. But the minute that home transfers, then of course you're paying like what it's assessed for now. So, suddenly a dump of a home that needs $300,000 worth of work that you've purchased for $1.1 million could maybe even be valued at $1.7 million, and you're paying tax on that. There's so many hidden fees in Los Angeles. You have to have your shit on point. To live here as a young person, I think is very hard because Los Angeles fucks with you. There's just this like, idea, I think that if you're young, you got to see it for the long game. You can't get caught up in the parties, the drugs, the alcohol. It's really for people who have figured their stuff out. But of course, Hollywood loves youth and beauty. So that part I think is kind of true and not true. The other thing that I found out in living here 2 years, which has given me great confidence, and this is why if you're listening to this and you're like, God, I want to move, I want to change jobs, make a plan and do it. I cannot bet on yourself. This life is so short. We don't even know why we're here, really. I mean, right? We're here to leave it a better place. That's the goal. Oh my God. And I'm telling you, make a plan, whatever it is in your life. If you're not 100% happy, I'm the most happy, the most fulfilled. And the thing is when you're happy to, if your spouse is on board, like Schman was on board, but I think Schman sees the success I'm having and the happiness, and then it's kind of contagious, right? And it gives him the freedom to go, okay, what do you want to do? How do you want to be happy with the time that we live here? Make a plan. It took us about 2 years to actually pull the trigger and move to Los Angeles. I told everybody I knew in Virginia, I'm moving to New York or LA, and I just wanted to be with sunshine. And I fucking love it. And I know you guys on the East Coast have had snow and minus 15 degrees. It sucks. It sucks. Now, would I move to unless you're in the entertainment industry or tech, I'm not sure I would move to LA. I don't know that you'd be, like, I don't know what is here for you that wouldn't be in a Nashville or a North Carolina or South Carolina. But if you're a content creator, even just the amount of podcast studios there are here to choose from and podcasters to collaborate with and learn from, off the charts. It's the greatest thing that ever has happened to me. And just thanks to you guys, and the thing is when you bet on yourself, the universe, amazing things happen for you that you couldn't even have dreamt. For me, my podcast always did well. You guys, a lot of you have been longtime supporters. But when I moved here, it's like the universe can tell your energy is just on and you're open. And my podcast now constantly trends. It never leaves the top 200 most listened to TV and film podcasts in the world. Now, my goal this year is to be on the charts for the top 200 most listened to podcasts total, like all around, okay? And you're like, where are these charts? Apple Podcasts, Spotify. I want to be one of the top 200 most listened to podcasts in the world, which is up there with creators such as Juicy Scoop, my girl Heather McDonald, even though I'm blocked by her, but I love Heather. Oh my God, Mel Robbins, Theo Vaughn, Call Her Daddy, Joe, they're all on exclusively on Spotify. So I have big goals. I know you guys are going to help me get there. You already have, but that's the thing. I do my mantra every morning. I get out of bed. I thank God before my feet even touch the ground. I thank God for my health, my KJ's health, my Schman's health, my mom's, my mother-in-law, my mom are alive and their minds are even sharper and their bodies are even sharper. And I just say, today is the day, God, all of my dreams and ambitions are coming true. I'm even more of a multimillionaire. I'm working on that part. But I get a mantra, say it, and write down your plan. Schman and I worked out a plan, and it was the greatest decision of our lives. Truly, the only downside of being here is we've had our miscarriages, which has really sucked because that's a big chunk of our money. So we were going to put, our $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 that we're now paying for our fertility journey down on a down payment of a house. So that's been the biggest downside, but everything else, I'm telling you, do it. If you're on the fence, now is the time. We found a great nanny here. I couldn't do it without her. She's unbelievable. People go, how'd you find a good nanny? Go to a park where there are nannies and just observe and start asking around. And if you're not into that, care.com. Okay. I mean, I like to observe people when they don't think anybody's looking, because I think that's always a true reflection of who they are. And if you did that to me, I think you'd see me doing kind things, but probably talking shit, No, you'd be like, that bitch. I just left her from lunch. Now she's telling everybody everything that happened from the lunch. But I think it's always important. So that's how I found KJ's nanny. I went to the park and I hung out. And the first 6 months was rough living here because we didn't really have a good nanny structure in place. But Dan's brother lives here. He's been incredible, a tremendous help, such a great family member. So, make your plan, write it out. What would it look like? And, and even I say this, Schman and I are a great yin and yang because I'm a dreamer and he's like a complete realist. And so he's like, we're not going to be able to afford it. I'm like, we cannot lose, right? If we lose, what happens? Okay, the worst part is we move back to Maine, we move to Michigan, we could move back, get our jobs in Virginia, right? I'm like, we're not going to lose. We're going to make even more money. There's just going to be even more opportunities. And there just has been, but there definitely were times where Schman was questioning that. And I got to rein it in. I go, Schman, look at what I've manifested, all right? And it's only getting better and better and better. Stick with me, kid. So, you gotta have some confidence and a little bit of cockiness and belief in yourself. And you have to fake it till you make it. I'm like, I don't have any great words of wisdom for you, okay? I can remember sitting in our apartment in Leesburg, Virginia, a month or two before we moved. And, we moved. I didn't know if Fox was going to keep me employed. Schman was leaving a job he had for 9 years to take a $40,000 pay cut, $50,000 pay cut. The podcast was making money, but we didn't know. And I did have a moment of, oh, fuck, what have I done? And then I thought, Sarah, you can't. You did this when you moved to DC. You were fat and you had nothing. You lived with your gunkle's friends for a year, and you just pounded the pavement and you hustled, and you'll do it again. And we did it again, and here we are. So, and by the way, I don't care that I'm fat. You guys know I just joke. You should be whatever size you are and be happy, and your weight is the least of your issues. So, anyhow, do it. Do it. I loved it. I can't believe 2 years have gone by. I would stay here the rest of my life. My goal is to buy a home in Beverly Hills. I love the BH. I love Beverly Hills. I love everything about it. Normal people live here. The idea that people are fake and phony in LA is so far, it's so stupid. You meet the most genuine, salt of the earth people here in every part of this great nation. That's such bullshit. The crime, they are right. You guys know I rant and rave about the crime here. 110%. I do not believe that I do believe the police are doing, I think the police want to police more, but the district attorney here, and I like our mayor, I do, but I think Karen could be much harder on crime. And we're having that problem in DC, right? For all my DC people, I have people that listen to me, I think it's in every state. It's nationwide, this insanity of crime and breaking in here. They hardly ever fucking find the people and prosecute them, which is such bullshit. There's a camera on every block. So that part of it, when you hear that on the news, is true. But the phoniness, no. And if you live in a city, it's the same level of phoniness, whether you're in New York or DC or Nashville, Tennessee or Chicago, Illinois. There's always that level of some people that are snotty and pretentious, but amazing human beings here. The most eclectic group. I love it. Make your plan. So that was that. Also, I don't have an IVF update for you this week because I'm still waiting on my blood test results to see if all is a go, but it does look like we are going to be doing our first round of IVF end of February. Stay tuned. Let's shout out my friend Sarah from Texas, from Jeff Lewis Obsessed. She was so sweet. She had an awesome podcast event here in LA. And she had Kristen on from Real Housewives Ultimate Girls Trip, which was great. She was such a natural with Kristen. So shout out to Sarah from Texas. She did a terrific job. And Kristen, did she reveal anything new? I'm trying to think. Kristen Tateman on her interview. No, I feel like she just talked about, I guess her, I didn't watch Ultimate Girls Trip, but her, at one point her toenail ripped off and none of the women helped her. That was like a really weird moment. I felt terrible for her. Yeah. So she was great. That was an awesome live show. I had a very busy weekend. Then I went to Jax Taylor's Studio City, where Brittany was there. Kristen Doty was there. They're part of the new Valley show on Bravo. Jax, I'll tell you what, that man is Jax, shout out to you. He is just an incredible host. Could not have been. Tons of tables there of women, mostly women. Huge fans of Bravo. He took pictures with everybody, gave out free shots, came around, wanted to make sure we all got free shots. Was amazing. The pretzel and Mizs beer cheese. Now, I wasn't a big fan of Mizs beer cheese myself. And, I was with our friend David Yontif, who we love. And David gives his opinion on Jax Studio City this Thursday. And Anna Kinkose, formerly of Real Housewives of Miami, was there. So David, tune into that because David gives his opinion. But I didn't love the beer cheese. It had like a weird consistency. I like a runnier cheese dip, just me. But this was much more like a thick cream cheese spread. Maybe Mizs, her famous beer cheese is Brittany. Brittany talked about it on the show. Kristen Doty could not have been sweeter. I mean, I feel like they all were working it. And apparently some other cast members from the Valley were there, but I didn't know that. It's out in Studio City. So it's, I live on the west side of Hollywood. So it's like, it's a little, you got to go to the Valley, which is always like a big thing here because you got to go over the mountains. That's why. But it wasn't like that far. It was in a nice neighborhood. There's no real sign outside, so it's a little bit tricky to find. I think these places, I love Hollywood, right? Like the cameras always make everything look so glamorous. And when you're there, it's a nice bar, but it's not, it's not this like fabulous TV place. And this is true of Lisa Vanderpump's Sir and Tom Tom. You walk in and like they're nice, but I don't know. They're always a little bit tiki-tackier, I think, than, what they look like on TV. But there it is. Anyhow, I have to say. And, of course, David is a trip to hang out with you guys in real life. My friend David Yontif. He has nothing to talk about but the housewives. And all he does is hang out with the housewives. And then he talks about their housewife lives. I always say to David, tell me something else going on in your life. I work all the time. I have no friends. And I'm getting ready to have drinks with Anna Kinkose. I'm like, but what? I don't go out and want to talk about fucking sister wives, okay? Or this damn podcast. Anyhow. And before that, I met my friends. We went to Craig's. You should definitely go to Craig's LA. I love Craig's. Best bar scene. There's always stars there. Kyle Richards goes there. Went there on Friday night, had dinner by myself. Shout out to these two gorgeous blonde women who were telling me about their IVF journeys. They were saying there aren't a lot of great IVF doctors in Los Angeles. A lot of the women from here go to CCRM in Colorado. They go to Mark Surrey, got a big shout out from this woman. That's who she had her kids with IVF. I almost saw him, but I'm going to San Francisco. So anyway, shout out to them. And then of course I met these other two guys drunk at the bar. And this was really sweet. Our bar's starting to do this. So I met this guy. He was very nice. Dennis is what he told me his name was. And he was there with this other guy, and they'd just gone to a Bill Maher taping. And you guys all know I have a weakness for old rich men. And I love Bill Maher. He's so fucking hot. Anyhow, I would make out with Bill Maher, even being married. I don't care. So they were telling me about Bill Maher. I was obsessed. And anyhow, then they were drunk, and they were like kind of like making fun of my sweatshirt, which I don't care. And so then my friends came, and I got like a bread basket, and they ate the entire bread basket. And my friends showed up. I'm like, all right, Dennis, I'm taking my bread basket, and I'm moving. And I opened the bread basket. They'd eaten the entire bread basket. And so then Dennis at some point, I don't know, we were like going back and forth. And he comes over and he starts massaging my shoulders, which my girlfriend and her husband were like, okay, this is weird. And then the bartender came over, and he goes, ma'am, we just wanted to make sure, are you okay? And we were like, my girlfriend Chelsea was like, isn't that so thoughtful that they did that they were so observant? I thought that was really nice. So it does seem like we are looking out for each other more in humanity. Dennis was fine. He was really innocent enough. I think he was wasted or high or a combination. I mean, Dennis didn't seem like he was on this planet. And, I am a huge flirt anyway in real life. I mean, I am. There's very few men I don't like. I love a man. I don't know. It's just something about men. I love a male energy. I do. It's a weakness. Men are a weakness. They really, I mean, it's a good thing I am a witch man, and I can't drink anymore hardly. I get so hungover. I have to stay sober, so I behave, but I love men. So I'm a bit of a flirt. So no, I don't feel uncomfortable. I'm like fine when like men get snuggly, and he wasn't like trying to like make out with my neck or anything. But didn't you? I thought that was very kind. So did my girlfriend. She was like, wow, they're very observant here. So shout out to Craig's. I like them, and they take care of you. They observe you at the bar. All right. That's it. That's like, I think the whole rundown, right? I mean, I was watching the Lions game where my husband's from outside Detroit. So go Lions. Huge football game. We love that. Oh, the ideal dick size. Speaking of men and my weakness, I also have a weakness for sex stories. I do. A new study out reveals the exact penis size that every woman wants, girth size, and the whole shebang. Ladies, I want to know if you think this is true. And guys, a lot of fellas listen to this show as well. Confirming the stereotype that bigger is better, the findings, which comes from 3 studies in academic journals, they're even onto it now, show that women prefer larger, girthier dicks. Make sure to keep the area trimmed but not completely bald. So women like they liked well-groomed pubic hair as seen as, men with well-groomed pubic hair are seen as, quote, good in bed and better pleasers than those who keep it unkempt or completely shaven. The findings come as more men opt for cosmetic surgery. For BBLs, more men are getting Brazilian butt lifts and daddy do-overs. In fact, scientists report that 1 in 15 seek procedures to change the size and shape of their penises. Do you believe that more men are getting plastic surgery on their dongs? That's amazing. 2020 study published in the Journal of Sexuality and Culture examined how men and women judge penises of people they don't know and what factors make them more attractive. They recruited 106 college students, 80% of whom were women, from Texas A&M University. Amazing. The penises were categories from low girth to high girth and with lengths ranging from short to medium. I'm gonna call a little bit of BS. They need to not, sorry to my college ladies, but they need to do a wider range of women, because we all find out later in life, right? You think you want a big dick, you do that for a while, and then you realize how uncomfortable it is. You want a medium-sized one. That's what you want. Researchers said penises which were wider, longer, and moderately hairy were perceived more positively in terms of personality and sexual appeal. So now we know. Now apparently size matters according to this. And I do agree. You got to be like somewhat well-groomed. Goes for the ladies too, right? I don't know. Yeah, I agree. So there you have it. I was looking to see if they have exact measurements on size on what. No. It looks like it was based more on like really your pubic hair and how you trim it. Okay. They got to survey, though, a lot of women. Because as you get older, doesn't it change for your dick preferences? Yes. Yes. Of the group, though, the vast majority of women, 80%, were heterosexual. The participants then reviewed 24 pictures of penises categorized by length, girth, and the amount of pubic hair. All right. There you have it. Okay. They do another one of these surveys all the time. And every time I talk about this, I always get men with micro penises that want me to review them. I'm too busy. I would love to. I would love to. I'm trying to have another child. I just, they want to send me the photos. They want me to discuss it. They want me to get them help. I can't. Look, this says that men are getting cosmetic surgery. If your dick is that tiny and you want it improved, then go. I had a micro penis guy on one time. He was great. I got amazing feedback from that. I still get men. They message me, can you review my dick? Can you review my dick? No, I'm running a business. I don't know. I don't do that. I mean, I think there's apparently an OnlyFans, 2 women that do it. Go find them. I mean, it's my own fault. I shoot my mouth off on this show. I go, oh, send me your small dick pics. Anyway, I love a penis. I can't help it. All right. A lot to get to this week. And oh my God, have I got... I'll just tease this. Natasha Alisa. You know her, formerly married to Kane from The Kane Show. We did a big series about a year ago, and then we co-host together. She's coming back, and we have a very special radio guest. I'll just say that. Stay tuned for that. Tomorrow, though, the 3 hotties, speaking of hot girth size, from Love in Translation on TLC. It's a show. Trip, Dylan, Khalil. Join the Sarah Fraser show. They are 3 single dudes looking for love down in the Dominican Republic with a bunch of women that do not speak English. Can they transcend the language barrier? You're going to find out. You're going to find out. That's tomorrow on the show. So, and then, of course, I do team up with David Yontif later this week. He'll tell you what he thinks of Jax's Studio City bar and more. Because people were asking me, were the drinks bad at Jax's? But I did not drink there, but David did. So he'll review. All right. Love y'all. Follow at the Sarah Fraser across all platforms. Bye, everybody.